My name is Jasmine Brunson, and this is From the Heart, a Hoopers podcast. In the last episode, we touched on breaking barriers and the idea of being the first in the family to do different things, whether it be open different doors, take different opportunities, whatever it might be, as being the first in your family to do it. This episode, we're going to be touching on how to lead when you're not the star, right? Because everybody cannot be the star on every single team. As you progress throughout your basketball careers, throughout your basketball journeys, mine was no different. I wasn't the star on every single team that I played for. And that is actually something that a lot of players have to deal with and have to navigate through, because again, you can't have 15 stars on one team. So if you have not subscribed to the official YouTube page yet, please go do me that favor. Also, make sure you are following the official Instagram page at From the Heart, a Hoopers podcast, as well as tapped in with me on all podcast platforms. Now that we got a business handle, let's get into it. If one of your coaches or trainers or anybody that you took basketball instruction from or anything like that ever told you, the deeper you go in your career, the higher that you go, the competition is gonna get better. The girls are gonna be just as strong, just as fast, if not faster, just as quick, just as smart, all of those different things. If you ever heard that before, did you think it was cap? Comment below. I personally didn't think it was cap because like I seen it, I knew, especially going to these different AAU tournaments, like that's where you're getting the most exposure, that's where you're seeing the most talent, like the most girls, you're seeing who got a bag, you're seeing what states is really like that. So like I knew that the higher I went, and obviously I wanted to play against the best of the best, so the higher I went, I knew I was going to be playing against girls that was stronger, faster, quicker, all of those things, right? But I just always thought that my work ethic and my competitiveness was something that was always going to keep me like a focal point on the team, or it was just going to keep me in rotations and things like that. Now, sometimes it is out of your control. Different things can completely be out of your control, but the things that are within your control, sometimes it happens. And let me tell you, firsthand, going from like quote unquote star on a team to a role player, or you're sparingly getting minutes, it is a humbling experience. Like it's such a humbling experience, because it's just like, how did we end up here? Like, I don't understand how we got here. But the first time I ever experienced that was when I was a freshman in college. Up into college, I never had to worry about whether I'm in a scout, being in a rotation, minutes, playing time, anything. I didn't have to worry about that, luckily. Like, yes, I competed, like I always had a competitive nature, but I never really I didn't have to worry about that, so to speak. Freshman year in college, I had to worry about that. I definitely had to worry about that. And it's crazy just because like that year in itself was just very confusing for me. And we're gonna get into my full college experience in a later episode. But that year in itself was just very confusing because I started my very first college game ever. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was November 12, 2016. We played Harvard. But yeah, I started and I had 15 3-3. I'm thinking that's solid. What you mean? First college game. Alright, I'm in double figures. You know, I got a couple assists, I got a couple rebounds, I got defended. And most importantly, we got the win. So I'm thinking, okay, that's foreshadowing. Like, we cool, we got motion. No, ma'am. Like, that couldn't have been any further from what actually happened my first 2 years. And like I said, we're going to get into some things on this podcast. I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm going to keep it all the way of being with y'all. Like, my first 2 years was very sporadic. And I'm going to get into my college experience more in depth in a different episode. Because there was a lot of different ins and outs of that. However, that was not me starting my first game, us winning the first game, me feeling like I was solid in the first game, was not foreshadowing at all. Like, mind you, this is the same year that I was told that I could be sent right back to the hood that I came from. So that should tell you something. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like, I was not one of those players that locked in at first to just having a different role. Like, I just wasn't, because part of it I didn't understand. Like I truly did not understand what I was not doing, what the issue was, what was wrong. So, I'm phoning home. I'm just like, y'all gonna have to get me out of here. Like, I got to go. Like, I won't lie to you, because I'm like, it's no way I'm gonna sit on a bench for 4 years. I'm not doing it. Nope. Like, I'm not doing it. And like different conversations that I was having, behind the scenes, obviously, to try and see, okay, how can I fit in the rotations? What else is needed from me? What else can I do? Like all of those conversations, I had those conversations because I want to play. Like, I don't think any real hooper, any real competitive person is gonna want to sign up to go to a school and sit for 4 years. I don't want to do that, especially when I could be playing at other schools. I know obviously everybody feels like that, especially when they're not playing. But sometimes that's really the reality. Like, you can go to a whole different school and play. But I was not locking in. Like, again, some things were out of my control, but I'm just like, I don't understand what I'm not doing. I don't get it. I gotta get on out of here, because I'm not sitting in Minnesota. Like, not even the school, the state. I'm not sitting here I'm not doing that. So I didn't care anything about leading. I didn't care anything about any of the sort. Like, it was just, what is the problem? What am I not doing? And so I was trying to figure that out. But then realistically, I was in my feelings about it. Like, I was definitely in my bag about it. I'm just like, there's just no way. Because again, my work ethic and my competitiveness, two things that I take great pride in. But I also knew that I do have a voice for leadership. I also, like, different conversations I'm having with coaches, like, again, I still have to be an extension. I still have to be, especially as a point guard, as a guard, like, you are an extension of the coaches. Like, you're an extension of the head coach. Whatever they want, whatever their vision is, it's on you to see it through and to make different things happen. Not solely on you, but you play a big role of that because you're an extension of them. So, like, I knew I still in different ways was being challenged to be a leader, but for a teenage kid, it wasn't the easiest adjustment, I will say that. But I also knew that I had teammates that rocked with me. Like, I knew my teammates responded to me. Like, I just knew, because not for nothing, real hoopers respect the work. Real hoopers respect the work. And after I decided to get out my feelings about it, that's what I relied on. Like, okay, I'm gonna get in the gym. Like, I'm not sitting there saying I did every single thing right. We gonna be honest, like I said, I didn't do every single thing right. Again, that's a tough pill to swallow. But once I did decide to lock in, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see this through. I'm gonna just figure it out. It is what it is. And then I have more than enough people on my phone, in my ear. Like, you're not quitting. You're not doing any of the sort. Like, you're not transferring. You're not doing any of that. So you gotta put your big girl pants on, and you gotta thug it out. Like, you deal with it. And so I relied on the work. And like, I just knew whether it be practice, game, whatever, whether I'm playing 2 minutes or 20 minutes, whether I'm in first, second, third group in practice, like, I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna work. And it's always in the back of my head, like, okay, obviously just be ready for your moment. Up until that point, there's other ways for me to be useful on this team. There's other ways for me to play a role in the success of the team. And so I locked into leadership. I locked into being a voice. I locked into the fact that I had teammates that responded to me. I locked into the fact that it was uncomfortable, and the fact that it also was going to help me grow. It was something that I needed. It was something that was a challenge for me. And I love challenges. So that was a challenge that I took on to, okay, now what type of leader can I be? How else can I assist the team? It won't be with me getting the most minutes on the court. It's not going to be me being the go-to player. But what is it that I can do that's going to help the team win? What is it that I can do that can lead to success or assist in the success of the team? And like I said, my first 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year in college, was a roller coaster, but it really forced me and allowed me to grow so much as a leader. Like, it allowed me to grow so much. And it was just understanding that playing wise for me, it was gonna be difficult, especially playing in the Big Ten. And the Big Ten looks very different now. Like, we didn't have USC and the Big Ten and anything like that, but the Big Ten 2016, 2017, all of that was tough still. And it just be confirmed for me all the time. Kelsey Mitchell going crazy right now in the Indiana Fever. That was one of the guards I matched up with, like Ohio State at the time. Like, the Big Ten was tough. Finding, everybody knows, especially as a player, like finding your rhythm, finding your groove, finding your niche is like, it's key. It's definitely key. You know, at that time, my role was simply to come in, run offense, defend, and to rebound. Yeah, I wasn't the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I wasn't none of them options. It was obviously take my spots because I had quickness or whatever. So it was like, okay, if I am able to get to the basket, whatever the case was. But my role literally was come in, run offense. Like, we don't sink the ship. Defend, like my life depended on it. And rebound. Simple. It was then I realized, for me, leadership does not require stats, just presence. Like, leadership requires presence, not stats. So I don't care if I'm averaging 25, 35, whatever, 2 points, 0.9 points, whatever the average is, whatever it is, like, leadership isn't always reflected or seen in stats, period. And I had one of the loudest voices. Whether I'm playing or not, one, at the end of the day, the goal is to win. I want to win, period. I want to be a winner. Like, winning is not something that to me, at least, winning is not something that you just do. Like, that's an identity. To identify as a winner, that is an identity. So for me, I wanted to be recognized as a winner. So whatever that meant, whatever that looked like, okay, I'm willing to do. And I wanted to see the Killers on the scene succeed. Like, I wanted us to win. Like, whatever that was, that is what I wanted. So I'm rooting for them. I'm trying to, tell them different things that I'm seeing, or if they needed help, or if whatever it is that they needed, I'm assisting y'all at this point. I'm assisting y'all. And whether it was moments in the game where it's just high intensity, or practice when stuff is getting tough, like, okay, who needs to be a voice? I'm cool. I could do that. I definitely could do that. And that's the role that I assume. Like, that was outside of what is going to be reflected in stats, like the rebounds, steals, all of those different things that also tie into the team role that coaches are sitting me down and talking to me about. My voice in leading and making sure that the go-to players and all of them, making sure I'm pushing them, making sure I'm competing with them, making sure that I'm doing what I can for them, because again, that is for the betterment of the team. Like, I'm definitely sure at around the time, like 2016, 2017, if y'all look it up, like, there's gonna be a bunch of pictures of me cheering for my teammates. Like, what was required of me, or that was what leadership looked like for me. Being the biggest cheerleader I could be for them, making sure that, when the starting point guard or whoever want to get in extra work, I'm available. Whether it's a rebound, a pat, whatever that looked like. And you got to swallow your pride and you do it. You do it because you know it's going to result in wins. You know that, again, it is for the betterment of the team. If I wanted to do anything solo, individual, I would have did tennis, I would have did golf, anything like that. I didn't want to do anything that's individual. I know it's about the team. I also trust in the work at the end of the day. I know my moment at some point is going to come. But right now, leadership looks different. Right now, I go from, quote unquote, being the star my whole career up until that point to now I am a role player. Now, my role looks completely different than what I am used to. And then junior year hits, right? Not only do we have a coaching change, but now I become consistently one of the starting guards. If I'm not starting point guard, I'm starting two guards. So I'm now consistently in the rotation, which also changes my role and changes what leadership is gonna look like, because now more is required. If you're a former athlete or athlete period, being a starter consistently, that's not something that comes easy, one. And then two, you gotta perform every single night. You set the tone. You set the tone. You're the first unit. Like, you the first group. You set the tone for each and every game. You set the tone in practice because you're the first group. Typically, how most, especially college practices, are structured. Y'all the first ones going against scout team. Like, y'all are setting the tone, setting the example for all of the groups that's coming after y'all, all of that. So now I'm consistently in the rotation. Now I'm consistently starting. And now that looks different too, right? So now we got to put everything together. I'm a consistent starter. I'm getting consistent minutes. Now I have to perform. Now there's extra pressure on me to perform on the court, because especially playing in a Power 5 conference, playing in the Big Ten, being a consistent starter being constantly or consistently in the rotation. Now you're one of the faces of the team. You're getting, it's a lot more eyes on you, right? So at that point in time, it's yes, it's about what I'm doing in the locker room. It's about the voice that I have. Absolutely. Especially, again, like I'm saying, as a point guard or as a guard. But now it's also about what it is for sure that I'm doing on the court. Because I'm getting most of those minutes. So if I'm screwing up, if I'm baiting, if I'm selling, it's going to be seen as more eyes on that situation. It's more eyes on me at this point in time. But I was always one of those players, and I'm just one of those people. I'm not gonna ask you to do or ask anything of you that I'm not willing to do or already doing myself. The biggest way I knew, or the best way I knew for me to lead now in this new role, was to simply walk the walk, just be on my P's and Q's. Like, it's no possible way, because I know for me, it's hard for me to, and it's always been hard for me to listen to somebody that's not willing to do what you're asking of me. Like, how can you possibly hold me to the standard or ask me to do any of the things that I've never seen you do, nor are you willing to do it, right? So I just figured, as long as I'm doing what I need to do and I'm on my P's and Q's, everything else is gonna follow. Everything else is for sure gonna follow. My voice is always gonna, like, I'm gonna do what I need to do with my voice. I'm gonna say the things that I need to say. Especially once I got comfortable enough to do that. And now at that point, I'm a junior, so I'm comfortable. Like, I done went through 2 preseasons, 2 postseasons, summer workouts, all of that, 2 actual seasons playing in the Big Ten. Like, I'm comfortable at that point. But there's no way that I'm gonna expect anybody else to handle their business or to do what it is that they're supposed to be doing when I'm not even doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So I'm talking about everything from making sure I'm in all my classes on time, making sure that I know the plays. And that is a big thing. Like, sometimes you may see a player and you're like, dang, why they not playing? Sometimes it's because they really don't know the plays. And as a point guard, a lot of times coaches are going to ask you to know all of the positions on the floor. It's not just about you knowing your position as the point guard. You need to know all of their jobs just in case something happens during the game, during the play, whatever the situation is. You have to know all of these spots. So I'm making sure I'm knowing the plays. I'm making sure I'm coming in, if not first, I'm like top 3 in sprints, like, or top 2 in sprints. I can't ask or constantly get on anybody to sit there and make times if I'm not making time. I can't tell you or get on you about not watching film, and I'm not going to watch film. I'm watching on film on my own and watching film with your position coaches or just coaches, period. Like, whatever coach is available. But at that, we have position coaches. I'm making sure I'm staying on top of all of these things. Was it perfect every day? Absolutely not. I never said that everything I did was perfect. However, I'm busting my behind making sure that I'm on my P's and Q's, period. So that means I'm making sure I'm getting my extra work in, whether it be on the court, in the weight room. I'm making sure that, like I said, I'm watching film. And the most important thing is I'm bringing teammates with me. That is the most, like, I'm bringing teammates with me. I'm not just going and being like, all right, let me just clock in my hours. No, I'm bringing a teammate with me. You don't got to be the star on the team to text your teammates and be like, yo, y'all want to put in some work? Y'all want to go get up shots? You don't got to be the star on the team to text your teammates and be like, all right, y'all want to go get some extra work in the weight room? You don't have to be a star to do that. You don't have to be a star to plan different things to build that team camaraderie that you need to win. You don't gotta be the best of friends, but y'all gotta have some type of camaraderie. You don't have to necessarily be the star of a team to do that. And again, even at that point in time, my junior year, I wasn't the star of the team. Was I one of the faces or one of the consistent starters? Absolutely, but I wouldn't necessarily say I was the star of the team. Keeping it real, I was not. But I knew that those are things that's gonna work. Those are things that's gonna help. Those are things that, I can do, I can orchestrate, I can spearhead. And I knew you didn't have to be the star to lead. So again, while my leadership and while my role changed, I've had to lead in every single role that I was in college or at any point in my career. That's something that I had to embody. That's something that I had to become very comfortable with. And once I transitioned from being a shooting guard to a consistent point guard in high school, you can't be a silent point guard. You can't be a point guard that don't know how to lead. You're a point guard. You run the show. Literally, you run the show. You have to do different things. You have to know how to navigate. You got to know different things about your teammates. There's so many different things, and that's going to be a whole different episode as well, a special point guard episode. because point guards are near and dear to my heart. But in whatever role I have to play to win, whatever is necessary to win, I am willing to do. From my last 2 years, junior senior year, my production went up, things like that. We've had success, we made history, different things like that. And I'm grateful that I was for sure a part of that. Like, those were some of the best times, honestly, I've ever had. And while I understand that when it comes to a team sport, you're gonna look at wins and losses, you're gonna look at records, all of those different things, you're gonna look at stats. But it's a lot that goes on, and it's a lot behind those stats. It's a lot behind those records. Like, it's a lot behind just the numbers that you do see. And obviously now, being older and in hindsight, I could talk about it in a way that might make it seem like having your role change is easier, going from quote unquote star to role player, or just, somebody that might be playing sparingly in the rotation. That's not easy. I might speak on it now in a way that might make it seem like it was easy, but your role changing or not necessarily being the go-to player or one of the go-to players, when that is what you are used to, that is what you work for, that is the position that you definitely try to put yourself in, it's not easy. It wasn't easy. And I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't times I questioned myself, or that I didn't question decisions that I made. Obviously the thought of, okay, did I make the right choice in picking a school? That was a real thing that I had to get out of my head. And like I said, again, respectfully, some things were for sure out of my control. But I'm still in my head thinking like, okay, dang, did I do this right? Did I make the right choice? Am I really that talented? Am I good enough? Am I supposed to be here? All of those different things was running through my head. I'm no different than any other player that's second-guessed themselves, doubted themselves, anything like that. Dealing with different challenges that they've had to navigate. I definitely had to have a reality check. I had to get out of my feelings. I had to stop overthinking it so much. Because at the end of the day, basketball is something that has always been my peace. And once I allowed basketball to not be my peace anymore, it became very difficult. And it was definitely an internal struggle that I had, an internal battle that I had, to continue to show up. Then you get to a point, or I got to a point where you realize it's selfish. It's like, it's only but so long you can sit there and be in your feelings about not having the role that you want on the team, or about not being a quote unquote go-to player or the star of your team. It's only but so long you can sit there and be like, okay, this is affecting me, before it becomes a selfish decision. And I never, ever, ever, ever wanted to be a selfish player or a selfish teammate. Like, I seen what that looked like, and I'm not a fan, because it's a team game. If one person lose, we all lose. If one person win, we all win. Simple as that. Once I realized that was definitely something that was selfish, it was like, all right, I gotta get out of this. I have to get out of this, because I don't want to be seen as a selfish teammate. And so I chose not to be a selfish teammate. I chose not to be a selfish player, and understanding that it might not look like what I want it to look like when I want it to look like it, but trusting myself, trusting my work, trusting my decisions, trusting the fact that there's other ways for me to assist the team, there's other ways for me to be successful. And at the end of the day, if you do what you're supposed to do, you're gonna get your moment. You're 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get your moment. In rare cases, you don't get it, but in most cases, you get that opportunity. What you do with it is completely up to you. My playing career for sure has required me to lead in different ways, to show up in different ways. And I'm grateful for all of it, because now it allows me to better assist the kids that I train, the kids that I coach, all of that. And it allows me to come from a real place. Genuinely, it allows me to come from a real place, because I see success. I've won. All of those different things. Obviously, we could get into I wish I would have did this. I wish we could have did this. I wish this would have happened. Like, obviously, I'm choosing not to waste my time on that. But now, in terms of what I currently do and what my goal is now, what my passion is now, it assists me. All of those different experiences, moments, challenges, that assist me in being able to better assist those coming after me, those that's asking me questions, those that trust me to train with me and trust me to coach them, all of that. So if you're a player or a former player that had that reality check moment of going from quote unquote star to role player, or going from go-to player to now you're sparingly getting minutes, at a different point in your career, point in time in your career, comment below, DM me, let me know how did you navigate it. What role did you then have to assume for the betterment of the team? If you're a coach, how do you empower your players to lead? How do you empower your point guard? How do you empower different people on your team to be an extension of you and to be able to lead their teammates so that it's not always coach-led and things are player-led as well? As always, thank you for tuning into this episode of From the Heart of Hoopers podcast. Make sure you are subscribed to the official YouTube page as well as following the official Instagram page at From the Heart of Hoopers podcast, as well as tapped in with me on all podcast platforms. I don't know how many times I gotta say it, but I am on every platform. Now, I would say that I will see you guys next week, but if you already follow the Instagram page, you already know that this is a 2-drop week. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that, and I will see y'all next episode.